Many states, California is no stranger to this sort of unrest. We manage it regularly and with our own law enforcement. But this, again, was different. What then ensued was the use of tear gas, flashbang grenades, rubber bullets, federal agents detaining people and undermining their due process rights. Donald Trump, without consulting California law enforcement leaders, commandeered 2,000 of our state's National Guard members to deploy on our streets, illegally and for no reason. This brazen abuse of power by a sitting president inflamed a combustible situation, putting our people, our officers, and even our National Guard at risk. That's when the downward spiral began. He doubled down on his dangerous National Guard deployment by fanning the flames even harder. And the president, he did it on purpose.
Cons at the ready. And what we've been told is that they're now ready to, any moment now, begin to march forward and clear the streets here of anybody who's still left on the streets in this area of downtown Los Angeles. Something that the mayor was stressing was that this is a small area. This is about a 1 square mile zone of downtown Los Angeles, of course, which is already a small area of the city. So emphasizing, this isn't martial law. This isn't something where no one will be out on the streets in the entire city. But as you can see, taking this very seriously here, a large police presence. And most of those demonstrators that we've seen, even in pockets, even in small gatherings throughout the day, have now
as long as we have the military there, the protests won't mean anything. Last night, if we weren't there, they would have burned down the city. But they did not a lot of damage other than they broke up a lot of concrete looking for weapons. Those are weapons. If that hits somebody in the head, the person's dead. You know that, right?
Yes, sir. Are you planning? A very heavy force will be met with the protest.
Oh, the military will be very heavy force. I'm very proud to tell you that. They might as well turn around. They're wasting their time. Some of them will end up in jail for a long period of time.
Coming into the schools, Dwight Eisenhower federalized the National Guard, told them to stand down and stop interfering with black kids making it to the schools, and then he sent troops in to walk those black girls and boys into those schools and sit them in the seats. And that happened also in the South and places like Alabama and Mississippi in the early 60s. So there is precedent for what he's doing. And, his position would be, I have a national mandate. And here are some local authorities who are refusing to robustly enforce my national mandate. And so just like back there in 1957, when Eisenhower had to federalize the National Guards and make sure that the local authorities conform to his wishes and will, the national mandate, I'm just doing the same kind of thing. So he's going to try to spin the narrative for sure that way. But the circumstances are incredibly different in this aspect, aren't they? Well, yeah. Yeah, there you had somebody trying to promote and protect values of equality, right? And saying that there was a national consensus that black citizens should be treated equally with white citizens, and we will send in federal troops to enforce that. There's not that clear consensus on the values that Trump is trying to promote or vindicate by bringing in the agents rather than allowing the process of protest, the normal process of protest and, free speech to run its course, as it has been in many other instances without the federal officers coming in. Well, a curfew has now been put into place. In your view, is that the right course of action for local authorities to take? Well, a lot of local authorities are going to err on the side of safety, and too often civil liberties are sacrificed for the sake of safety. And so I'm sure that local authorities are going that route, but they have to recognize a lot of ordinary citizens think just as important as safety are their rights to have freedom of movement and not feel like they're in a paramilitary kind of situation.